And what's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast, being joined tonight, and once as always, by Hitmaster.
Hello, everyone.
The beard's still gone, but it's coming. It's starting to come back.
Yeah. It's going to take a bit.
This is episode number 79 of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast. Today we're going to be talking everything about what happened at North Wilkesboro for the trucks and the All-Star weekend for the Cup. So that should be a lot of fun. Garry went to a new racetrack as well the other night, so we're going to talk about that. Well, it might not be new for you, but it's we never talked about it on the podcast before. So Gary's going to give his full thoughts about that.
So technically it's new.
There's some silly season stuff that we got to go over as well as stuff retaining the 2025 schedule. It's not been officially announced, but it is some stuff starting to leak about it. So we'll go over that. The Hall of Fame drivers were elected as of right now when we're recording it, actually. So we'll talk all about that too. And then, speaking of the Hall of Fame, we're going to preview this weekend's action at Charlotte. So it should be a lot of fun there. But first, let's talk about what happened at North Wilkesboro. First, for the trucks, it was a rainy weekend for the trucks. Trucks were supposed to run mid-afternoon on Saturday. They got about 80 laps in before the rains came. And man, did they come. Pit road was literally underwater. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I mean, they were tires that...
They said 4 inches in 2 hours.
There were tires that were floating down pit road. Cars were halfway submerged, or trucks, I guess, were halfway submerged in the water. And one of the crew members did a belly flop into the water.
I would have.
I would have too. It's so funny.
Be a child again. I mean, come on.
Right.
We were all faking it.
But yeah, it was just insane. So the heat races for the All-Star race got canceled. The truck race got moved to the Sunday morning. And everything. But once we did get to Sunday, it was pretty good. The trucks were able to finish their racing. So I did not get to watch that first 80-lap run, but I did get to watch
the truck. Guess correct. I picked Corey Haim. I was correct. Right.
Corey Haim won. He was one of the trucks that was underwater on Saturday and then ended up winning on Sunday, which is insane. But otherwise the racing was pretty good. It was okay. I mean, a lot of underdogs shined. A lot of underdog drivers ran really, really well. Other than Corey Haim, I think a lot of drivers that finished in like the top 5 or even the top 10 were not necessarily drivers that we'd expect to be competing for those positions on a weekly basis, even in the truck series. So that was cool to see. But the racing was pretty competitive. Everything went well there. And then the Cup race, or the Cup All-Star weekend, Ty Gibbs dominated the Open to win. And there were some tempers that were flying as well, as because Noah Gragson and Austin Cindric got together partway through the race, crashing out Cindric. And Cindric was not necessarily happy with that. It would just be a pretense of what was to come later in the night, but Cindric was not happy, but they did reconcile their differences. But Ty Gibbs led every single lap in the Open to win, and I count the Open for the New Year's Eve Spectacular as well. So Ty Gibbs is in it this year. He is going to be his first time ever in it, so he won and he is in. Bubba Wallace finished second to transfer into the All-Star race as well. And then Noah Gragson won the fan vote, which I don't know how that happened, to be honest. Really? Out of all drivers that you could have picked, you picked Noah Gragson.
It's because of certain reasons that I'm not going to say out loud.
Yeah, well, you got a point there. But anyways, so they were the last of the 20 drivers to make it in. The All-Star race was, I thought, pretty good. I thought the Open was pretty good, too. I thought the truck race was pretty good. And that was all because of the North Wilkesboro repave that they did. I didn't know this until I watched the race, but when they were repaving North Wilkesboro, apparently, most tracks when they do a repave like Michigan or Daytona or Texas or, all those tracks, they don't really like to keep a lot of the bumps and grooves. They like to try and keep it smooth, maybe make their own new grooves or whatever. And it's worked to varying results over the years. But with North Wilkesboro, they decided we're going to keep the same bumps. We're going to keep those grooves. We're going to make it pretty kind of its own. What North Wilkesboro was back in the day when NASCAR was still coming there on a regular basis back in the 80s and 90s. We're going to keep that kind of feel. But, drivers won't have their tires wear down after 5 laps because the track has been sitting dormant for 30 years. So, that was good. And it made for some really good racing. Last year, nobody could really pass. Everybody had to hug the bottom. Everybody was just in one groove to not worry about their tire issues. But we saw a lot of drivers taking multiple paths with grooves this year. And it was making it for a pretty challenging track. And it was really, really fun to see. And it was very refreshing to see like a good short track race with the new car. We haven't really seen that much this year. And so that was really, really good to see, in my opinion. But as far as for the race itself, Joey Logano dominated. He led all but 1 lap out of the 250, I think it was, or 200 laps, and went on to get the win. He was already locked in because he won the Clash, he's a previous winner. He was a previous winner. That's how he got in already, so it didn't really matter. William Byron did not have a good night. He got into the wall, ended up finishing multiple laps down. And then the big controversy for the night, the big memorable moment, came just on the second lap of the race when Ricky Spinhouse went 3 wide in the front stretch, dove into turn 1, and Kyle Busch was apparently not happy about that, so he pile drives Stenhouse into the outside wall, ending Stenhouse's night. Stenhouse was the only of the 20 drivers to not finish the race. And then in his interview, after he was released from first off, he parked his wrecked car in Kyle Busch's pit stall. So that's how you knew things were going to get fun when that happened. And then they did his interview, and he said, well, I'm just going to have Richard hold my watch. Richard, I assume Richard Petty? I don't know who he was mentioning when he said Richard.
Richard Childress.
Oh.
There's other Richards in NASCAR there, bud. Not a true NASCAR fan. Not a true NASCAR fan. That's what other people would say.
Yeah, well.
But we're the one
they
that
could
has
say what they
79
want.
episodes of podcasts.
That's right, baby. They could say what they want. Anyway. So he said, better hold my watch. And then, the race went on, whatever. But I was kind of excited to see what would happen post-race, because Stenhouse could not leave the track. Here's a fun fact about North Wilkesboro I did not know either. On most tracks, there's an under tunnel that goes underneath the track, so you can leave. If you wreck, you can leave early. Not at North Wilkesboro, because they have to open up the pit gate, and that's how you leave. So Stenhouse was stuck there watching the rest of the race for the entire time, which meant he got to stick around to the end and confront Kyle Busch. And this is where things get really good. So they get confronted into the garage area, and Stenhouse did not hold back. He took a massive sucker punch straight to Kyle Busch's face. It was unclear if he got a clean shot in or not. I think he missed for the most part, but the effort
I don't know for sure, but I know for a fact that Kyle Busch got a clean shot on Ricky Sr.
Yeah, that's what I didn't even notice. So Kyle Busch is then being dragged off by Ricky Spinhouse's dad, and meanwhile the crew guys are all getting into it, and then fucking Busch gets absolutely wrecked by. There was another guy who got like fucking WWE style like jumped on at one point too. It was a brawl that took me back to like the Texas race in 2014 with Jeff Gordon and Brad Keselowski. Also the Phoenix brawl in 2012 with Gordon and Poyer. It was
That those two do bring that up, but in my eyes, that brings me to the what was it? The Tony Stewart versus Joey Logano incident.
That one too. That one too.
And then you have Kyle Busch and I think Logano where they asked Logano, was any hits to you? And Logano goes, none to me. Meanwhile, you have Kyle Busch walking to the back, blood. Just
I think the craziest part about this is a lot of people don't remember this, but Busch did a pre-race like Michael Waltrip did his pit walk, and he interviewed Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch's son was there, and they were talking about how, yeah, can't wait. His son's was like, yeah, can't wait to be behind the wheel of this car with Dad and whatever, and then that happened. It is something that we haven't really seen out of Kyle Busch since about like 2017-ish. Especially since his move to Childress, he's really calmed down. But this was vintage Kyle Busch, 2012, 2011 style Kyle Busch. He just did not hold back at all, and really let it loose. And here's what I'll say about that as well. It looked justified at when they first showed replays from certain angles. Then they showed an angle, and Stenhouse never touched him. He had the room and he took it. And Busch never got touched. He never got moved. Okay? Well, he did he moved out of the way, but he never got touched. So Busch's reaction was completely over the top. Completely unnecessary as well. It reminded me of his incident with Ron Hornaday at Texas in the truck race about 13 years ago now. 12 and a half about, actually. Where it was a minor incident, both drivers could have continued on, and then Busch overreacted during the caution cooldown part and wrecked them both out of the race. And I don't think that's what will happen this time, but it's very similar type situations, except just much more extreme for no reason.
Kyle Busch, in my eyes, I don't care what it feels like in other people's eyes, he got touched by Ricky Stenhouse. And even if he didn't, the one NASCAR rule you need to think of when you're in a NASCAR race or in any NASCAR thing is
never go 3 wide on the first lap. Especially on a short track. I don't care if you have, the speed or anything. Just wait until there's an opening. I mean...
He did wait till there was an opening.
Yeah, by shoving his way in. And then it screwed Busch up because he had to slow down no matter what. Yeah, I don't think he touched him in a way. But he still pushed him into the wall and gave him no space. Yeah. In any other thing... It could be I just don't like Ricky Stenhouse. I really hated him.
I don't like him either.
Especially since he dated Danica Patrick, which was the stupidest idea she's ever had. But,
it reminded me of
I've always hated him.
That reminded me of a funny quote that I found in a lot of the comment sections. Like I was watching, people that caught it on video and were looking at the comments to see what people's reactions were to the fight and everything. Is like, the only thing that Ricky Stenhouse has ever done is Danica Patrick.
At least some people agree with
That was a very popular comment. But he did win the Daytona 500, so
it's like one of those things. If Jeff Gordon didn't have all that success, all they would have been saying was this. Well, at least Jeff Gordon has one thing. He dates taller women. Taller than him. And yes, I'm calling Jeff Gordon short. He's my favorite driver, so fuck you.
Okay.
Or Elvis.
Anyways, that's really why. That's kind of my perspective on it. I think Busch overreacted, but it was still a fun fight to watch, so I can't complain. But Logano took the victory. Back-to-back weeks with the victory for Ford, if that means anything. And Ford really had a good run in this race, too. So we'll see if that carries on to Charlotte or not.
I hope it doesn't carry on at Michigan.
Still
I want Chevy to win so god dang bad. I don't even care who it is anymore. It could be Kyle Busch, and I would be happy. Just Chevy needs to get the Ford win column at Michigan out.
Did you already buy your ticket?
No, because we don't know for sure if I'm able to go because I'm about to have a new job coming up. So
Yeah, I haven't bought my ticket either, but I will be going. So,
well, depends on what my dad says. So
anyway, that's really all we had though for North Wilkesboro. A successful weekend. I like the repave, and things are looking good for that track. So let's put it into the books.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll get to your thoughts on that new Speedway in a little bit. First, I want to run through some silly season news. Well, it could be silly news. It's not all silly, but Justin Bonsignor. Correct me if I'm wrong with that pronunciation. He's going to be joining the Xfinity Joe Gibbs program for a few races this year. So that's cool. Good work there for him. Some sad news as well. It's been pretty publicly announced by now, but Eddie Gossage, he was the former track president of Texas Motor Speedway back when they were a good track, but he sadly passed away at 65. So, rest in peace.
What do you mean Texas was always ass?
Anyway, some schedule stuff. Speaking of North Wilkesboro, they are going to host the All-Star Race again next year. That was confirmed. And Phoenix is going to get the championship race next year again. Not very happy with that, but what are you going to do, I guess. But I just think they could do better. I just really think they could do better. Now here's some other shocking news that's been going around recently. Stewart-Haas Racing might be shutting down. So we've been talking for a while now. It came out a while ago about their situation with their charters and how they were getting too expensive, so they were thinking about selling off 2 of their charters. Well, apparently the problem has gotten worse because now they're in threats of having to sell all of their charters and shut down. So, let me see if I can find the article about this. Let's see. Okay, we're just gonna do this. Ready? Okay, here we go. Alright, this comes from FordAuthority.com. So, correct me if they got it wrong, because I don't know what this website is. But anyway. Oh, well, there are some rumors floating around that they could be going to Honda instead of Ford. What?
what is this, F1?
What? Okay.
What are we going to do next? Put Red Bull back in NASCAR?
SHR has yet to renew their agreement with Ford, which apparently expires after this season. There's also more stuff that indicates that they're going to sell off their charters, which I just said. This is according to TJ Majors as well. Pretty reliable source there. This is from Major himself. He says, listen, I don't know. I think they're going to sell these 2 charters to Front Row Motorsports. Now, whether or not Front Row runs both these charters or leases one is going to be interesting. But I can see 3 full-time cars. Be interesting. A lot of teams, he also said that a lot of teams are interested in Noah Gragson. Why anybody's interested in him, I don't know. He has been running pretty good recently, I will say. Not like super good, but he's been the best in the Stewart-Haas camp for the last few weeks by far.
People not realize what he did at Michigan.
Well, he didn't do anything at Michigan because he was suspended.
It meant before. Why is he not a Kyle Larson? Also, it seems like people that do those kind of things all of a sudden get good with Kyle Larson and his situation. I mean, Bubba Wallace ain't going anywhere, so people can stop talking about that. 2, look at what Noah Gragson's doing.
Yeah, really.
I mean, I'm not, saying it's okay, because it's not. But it's just weird how that's happening.
Right. Also, Major says that Harrison Burton could be out of the 21 car at the end of the season, and that the top candidate to take over that ride is another Stewart-Haas driver, Chase Briscoe. That's all that was really for that. So nothing, I guess, too new, except for the Honda stuff. I never knew about that. I don't know how Tony Stewart's they're going to get Tony Stewart to say yes to driving Hondas, but,
That's the thing, he's not going to.
But things do not look good in the Stewart-Haas camp, and if they don't shape up on the track, things might get worse. So that's something to keep an eye on throughout the season. Also, we talked about the NASCAR Hall of Fame. The inductees have been announced for the 2024 class. 3 people got in. Ralph Moody. I don't know a whole lot about Ralph Moody, but I will call it a good vote in, I would say. Overall. Ricky Rudd also got in. Very deserving, in my opinion. And Carl Edwards got in too. So, definitely think that all 3 of these guys are definitely well deserved of getting into the Hall of Fame. So, good work for them to get in. Yay! Does that mean they can put Edwards' Kansas car from 2008 in the Hall of Fame as an exhibit, or did they junk that car? They probably junked it. Who knows? Maybe Carl.
I don't know, honestly.
Maybe can Carl do a backflip at the induction ceremony? I think that'd be cool.
No, because then he'll probably crack his head open. He'll fail this one time, and then he'll crack his head open.
I don't think they'd let that happen, but
it's NASCAR.
That's really all the news that I had, though, for this week. I got no new merch to show off. So it's pretty good. Anyway, without further ado, then I'll let Garry take it away with his thoughts on, is it called Crystal Motor Speedway, right?
It is. So Crystal Motor Speedway is, I would say, if you want to think about it, think of Bristol, just less banking. I mean, if you guys want to go look at what the track is like, go on YouTube, type up Crystal Motor Speedway, Michigan. It's in, of course, Crystal, Michigan.
Every day,
by the way,
every day I learn a new town name in the state that I've lived in for all of my life.
Hold on. I got some pins from there.
Now, I'm curious about this. Were they pins from the track itself, or were they third?
So There's one that I didn't know where it was from, but I bought it because it was funny. The second one is a track pin. So, of course, I'll show you the track pin first. Here is the track pin, CMS.
So
It's backwards, but
okay,
CMS.
so they. Okay, so do they have their own shop at the track where you can buy stuff, or is it just where'd you get that from? Like, I know you got it at the track. I know it before everybody goes down in the comments, but what?
They do have a shop. And what's weird? So here's what's weird. This is the racetrack. You have the stands, like right behind, of course, and then to the facing towards. So like the way you're facing. So if I was to face the way you were facing, I think this is how it is. Either on the. It's hard to explain with here. Hold on, let me get a map out. Let me Google Map, because Google Maps has the like. But like the area is pretty small. I mean, there was only a couple things in the store that you could buy. You could buy little toy cars that were like sprint cars, late models, all that, and it is a dirt track. So remember that. It's not.
I gotta log this track on our stadium list before I forget.
Yes, you should. So this track is nothing like Spartan Speedway. Let me tell you that. Not because it's dirt, but it's nothing like Spartan Speedway. Because when I looked how many cars there were on that track, or at that track, it showed, not counting the kids' race cars, there was about 100 entries in that race.
In what? In one race?
No. Talking about like 100 cars were entered at the track so that they could have heats and stuff like that.
Oh, damn.
These guys that are running it are really, 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 really good at putting this stuff up. So they get about 100 to 200 cars every time they open. And it's pretty cool. So when you're looking at Google Maps, right here. So there's the track right here. And then if you look closely, I gotta remember. Okay. Right there is the shop. That's the shop. That's where you come in. That's the shop. Then, right here, that's where you get your food.
Yum, yum.
So basically, you're not even going anywhere to leave the track. And we were on turns 1 and 2.
Is it like Oregon Oil where you can bring your own stuff in if you want?
Yeah, but they would just have to check. That's it. What I mean by check it is, they check inside of it, check to see if, everything's good. No weapons or anything like that, which is usual. But here's the weird thing. There's the parking all through here. So this is all the parking.
Okay.
Right there, that's the entrance to where all the race cars go.
Huh.
So when you pull in, you get to see the cars drive through. So, I mean, it ain't a bad place. I mean, highly recommend. Highly recommend. Because this track, and they may not do figure eights like Spartan Speedway does, but let me tell you this. Their dirt racing. We saw the late models there. Their dirt racing has close action. And everyone will love it. I'm telling you, everyone will love it. So definitely put that on your track list.
Well,
So, of course, we
it's
got
already
the...
on the list. I just wanted to make a note that you visited there and that they have pins, so that we're going to make a higher priority to go there now.
They were only $5.
How's the ticket prices? Like, is it unaffordable?
The ticket
price.
So I actually have the website right here. I believe the ticket prices were $15.
Oh, okay, so about the same as Gorgon Isle Speedway.
Right.
I think Gorgon Isle
Close
like
now.
12. I don't remember, maybe 13.
They are always... The thing is, they're always on a Saturday. And here's what's even more funny. My dad knows a guy that was racing in the modified cars. And he won the feature.
Good for you.
So, with that being said, winner, baby! With the pins,
Yeah.
there's a CMS one that I just showed you. And then I tried asking the guy what this meant.
What the fuck? I can't.
I don't know if it means Owasso Speedway
What the?
or if it's just a number 0.
Is there supposed to be lettering on there? I can't read it.
No, there's no lettering, just O.
Huh?
I know. So I was like to myself, pen, I'll take it. So
Okay.
I've been looking up to find cracks or anything that is selling this single thing. I want so badly to do a live stream.
Wait, so the guy didn't even know what it was from?
No, which is weird because I'm like, this be rare? But I'm thinking of doing a live stream and having us look up to where, where is this fucking pin from?
We'll go on a giant manhunt.
We're going on a manhunt. But, so I went to check out everything, which means I checked out the food area. Food area is fine. You can get elephant ears. You can get pretzels. You can get chicken tenders. You can get a full cup of fries, and you can even get a cup of pickles.
The fuck?
Just like one of the if you ask for like pickles at Subway and like they give it to you in one of those tiny cups, that's what they had it in. And then they also had bigger pickles that you could just grab if you wanted them.
Huh? For free?
No.
Oh.
But the drinks were not even that expensive. I think a small one was like $3, and then a medium one was $5, and then the large one was $10. So I mean,
Ew.
this is the only thing that annoyed me, and I feel like it's gonna annoy you. So I'm gonna tell you this now, so that you won't be annoyed later, even though you're probably gonna forget. When you want a cheeseburger, because I did this. So I grabbed the cheeseburger, I felt it, and I was like, this isn't warm. I'll just go back and see what happens.
I do love when I feel my cheeseburger.
I open... Shut up. I open the tin foil. All I see is bun, cheese, bun. And I go to my dad, I look over at it, I'm like, they didn't even put the frickin' patty. And then the person next to us says, oh, when you buy the cheese and the bun and all that, you have to go down to the grill and they'll put it on for you. In my head, like on the outside, I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go do that. Seems easy enough. But in my head, I'm like, I fucking hate my life.
What?
So for that, just for the cheeseburger, it was good. By the way, at the end, it was good. But to get the fucking shit,
I have never seen a place where you pay for something and they give you part of it at one station and then you have to get the rest of it at another station.
And that entire time, I was like, I'm not even going to sit down anymore. I'm going to stand. I'm done with this place. I want to go home. I'm so upset. But it's
so
racing.
weird.
Everyone loves this.
That's just so weird. I've never seen that in any place ever.
And it's not like, like I said, the burger and stuff was good with the cheese and stuff. The cheese melted everything. But now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder to this day if I would have gotten that pork burger, do I have to go and grab it from the grill? Or if I'm getting a regular hamburger, are they just going to give me bun?
Probably.
And they stuck together. That was the fucked up part. The cheese and the bun stuck together, which was fucking bullshit because I couldn't rip it apart. I hated it. I hated it so goddamn bad.
It's just a terrible system.
I think they probably changed it after COVID hit. Because you don't grab it. The guy that's on the grill picks it up and then puts it on the bun and all that, and then you can...
No, I just thought you stuck your bare hand on a lit grill and grabbed your patty and whatever.
Well, the NASCAR podcast ends at number 79. We're not doing any more after this. Because Tyler wants to be a fucking dick.
Hey, you're the one that grabbed the pickles out of the jar.
I didn't grab the pickles out of the jar. They were right there in a freaking container with pickle juice. Also, by the way, the pickle juice was very, 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 very sweet. I didn't like the pickles.
I hate pickles, so...
How dare you. But anyways, if I had... Oh, real quick, one more thing. They have a tiny track. They have a tinier track on the back stretch.
Wild.
So, like, Saturday when we went, they had the races and everything. The next thing was a mud bog. So they did mud bogging, which is cool.
The hell's a mud bog?
Mud bog is basically where the whole entire track is filled with mud, and like trucks go as far as they can in the mud without stopping. It's like a tractor pull, but with mud.
Huh.
And without the tractor. And more redneck.
Interesting.
Except, well, NASCAR's more redneck.
True.
So, I mean...
Well, it seems like a cool place.
It's if I had to rank it, 8 out of 10. Because the last time I went there, it rained down and I couldn't even see it. So, I mean, this time I got to see it full person. I loved it. 8 out of 10. Would recommend for anybody that's in Crystal, Michigan, or anywhere, actually, because I'm like an hour away from this place. We went all the way there and all the way back, and I made it home at like 11 o'clock. So, I mean, it was worth.
Would you say it's better than Corgan Oil Speedway?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Just
Okay.
because, one, they bring more cars to the place, and two, their company is not named after frickin' oil.
It's true.
That, and they didn't change their name. It's been Crystal Motor Speedway since 1952. And that's how long... That also proves another thing. This is an old track, and it's still going to this day. Still, it is 50. Actually, I think it's 52 years old. Yeah,
Close.
52. Yeah, almost.
Close. It's actually 72.
And you know it's 72. I'm going up on my calculator. I want to see who's actually close.
Do 2024 to minus 1952, and we'll see who's correct, okay?
Oh, look at that. 52 years old. Wow. Wow, 52 years old.
You lied to me.
But yeah, I guess from that age, I mean, and it's still going on, and there's still lots of people that go there. I mean, props to this place.
Really so.
I can't wait for Tyler to have to do what I have to deal with. I really can't wait.
To deal with a what?
To having to deal with grabbing your cheeseburger or whatever you get and having to go over to a grill and have some guy.
I simply will just bring my own food, actually.
No.
You need to try the fries. Okay. If I had to choose, I didn't try the chicken tenders, which I really should have. I didn't try the chicken tenders, but I tried the elephant ear, the fries, and I had a water. Right? Yeah. And their popcorn. I tried their popcorn. Popcorn sucked. Their elephant ears weren't bad, just too greasy and too cinnamony. And then, of course, the burger was... the fries were not bad. So, I mean, it was decent.
Can't really expect much out of a dirt track. Let's be honest here.
So there was also, before we get into, Charlotte, there was kids racing. Damn, did they suck. The first two heats were fine. Nobody wrecked.
They're children.
The first two heats.
This just in, Garry wants all the children to crash and die.
The first two heats, nobody wrecked. And then came the third heat.
We need to educate you. Children cannot drive well. Okay?
I guess this kid needs to be educated super well because the kid fucking went backwards at the start of the race.
Huh?
He went backwards. They had to throw the caution, and then they stopped him, and the guy got so pissed he went. He didn't go turn around and be a lap down.
God, that kid made me die.
Huh? How do you... Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Okay.
And then the fourth heat was interesting because there was a photo finish to the line.
No. Hold on a minute, right? So like at a basketball, a basketball court, right? You run the wrong way. It's okay. You're like 8, all right. You learn eventually. On a football field too, like the lines are different, not super different, whatever. Run the wrong way, whatever. But when you're when all the cars are going in one direction, maybe it's a good idea to follow them. No?
Maybe he was too busy playing NASCAR Heat before he raced.
True. Possibly true.
Where you could, and he wanted to know if he could fly in the air.
Wouldn't that have been something to see? Wow,
Let's get into Charlotte.
that'll be something I'll think about for a while. Yeah, let's get into Charlotte. Yeah,
Let's
okay.
let's go away from this, kid going backwards without a brain.
It's Memorial Day weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everybody's going to enjoy their 3-day or some 4-day weekend. Or some no weekend at all because they work in retail.
I don't, not anymore. Fuck that.
I think all 3 are racing this weekend, if I remember correctly. Yep. Trucks on Friday, Xfinity on Saturday, Cup on Sunday. Plus, I do want to give a shout out to the Indy 500. We won't make a prediction for the Indy 500, but shout out to Kyle Larson, who's running the Indy 500 and qualified, I think, 5th or 6th for the race. So that's really, really good. He's going to be the first driver to do double duty since, I believe, Kurt Busch 10 years ago did it. And Busch ran pretty good. He finished 6th in the Indy 500 and was doing pretty good in the Cup race till his engine blew late in the race. So it'd be interesting to see how Larson does in this race. So in these races, I should say. So, but anyway, who do we think's going to win the truck race?
All right. So let me just say this. I won the All-Star race. So hopefully this can help me again. I am going to go with Stuart Friesen. I think he has the guts to get back into his 2021 era where he was winning races.
Oh.
So yeah, Stuart Friesen.
I'm going to pick Daniel Dye. Because why not?
Okay.
Because why not?
Alrighty.
Then the Xfinity race. Who do we think's going to win the Xfinity race?
I think this is going to be a good race. And I think the number 97 of SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, will get his first Xfinity win.
Ooh. 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 Who am I going to pick? I'm going to pick Sam Mayer to win. I don't think he will win, but he's the first Xfinity driver that came to my mind. So.
Let me go get the chips.
How's everybody's Friday going? I don't know what I'm doing because it's Tuesday, not Friday. And we're doing the pre-recording.
Yeah. All right. So, it's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks since we picked a poker chip. That's the name. All right. So now, this is for Tyler since he owns the fucking channel.
That's right, baby. Never forget it.
All right, now you gotta vote for whoever I get for the Indy 500. Because guess what? I'm not even kidding you. Which means, guys, he'll possibly win the Indy 500 and the 600. If he does that, I will give Tyler 2 points.
Woo! Woo!
You can see he's tired, so am I. I've been yawning. Here we go. Watch it be William Byron. You screwed me. Well, Coca-Cola Zero Sugar Coca-Cola 600 might be the 100 for Wood Brothers.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Unless you can get Kyle Larson in the 21, then maybe it'll happen.
Maybe. So. Well, guys, that's all we really had for this week's episode of the Talking NASCAR podcast. If you want to be a guest on the Talking NASCAR podcast, all you gotta do, join the Pringles and Company Discord. Links in the description down below. Request Talking NASCAR role, and me or Hitmaster will get you the role, get you time to come on and talk some NASCAR, so it should be a lot of fun. Stay tuned for next week when we recap all the fun events of Memorial Day's racing weekend. Talk about a bunch of other fun stuff and look forward to the summer. So it should be really good there. So anyways, stay tuned for much more amazing content from both me and Hitmaster. Until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.